Yes, some numbers here for Erie County early. Donald Trump leading right now with just 20% of the vote in. That looks to be about the totals for the, or at least early numbers for the early voting. So that would be in line. The Republicans were kind of running the show here in terms of the early vote with people getting out early there. So 56% to 43.9%. Definitely encouraging numbers for Republicans who had been preaching to get out early to vote before Election Day and get those numbers up so they had a better idea of what things would look like on this night. Let's jump over to a few of the other races at this point. This is going to be for U.S. Senate. This race has already been called by the AP, but we do have some numbers for Gillibrand in Erie County and Michael Sapricone. Again, these look to be the early numbers that we're getting in. Republicans in Erie County had led the early vote. That appears to be that, but just the blue wall, or not necessarily the blue wall, but the population center for New York State with Manhattan kind of running this election. Jumping over to Nick Langworthy's race, let's refresh here, get a quick second. And just very few numbers. I don't know if these are errors perhaps, or just initial numbers trickling in, but Langworthy expected to hold on to this district and winning in each of his the counties that encumber or that are included in the 23rd Congressional District. Moving to the 24th here, Claudia Tenney expected to win here. Niagara County doing pretty well, 82% of their vote in here, and Claudia Tenney hanging on to that district pretty easily here. Quick refresh. Still waiting on, it looks like, Genesee and Wyoming counties. Those typically take a bit more time to come in just from previous years. But I want to look downstate for a second here. Again, looking at the race for the 26th Congressional District with Tim Kennedy and Anthony Marecki. Very few votes in here, so this might just be things trickling in at this point, or there being computer error or something like that. We have reached out to the county to try and figure out what's taken so long here. Erie County is usually pretty quick to this, but downstate, we have a few races for Congress that could be pretty crucial in terms of the balance of Congress at this point. It's controlled by Republicans right now. Speaker Mike Johnson was visiting one of those districts in Syracuse recently, where we have John Mannion facing off the incumbent Republican candidate Brandon Williams. But a lot of money has been spent even further downstate to Westchester and Putnam counties. This is a race for a familiar face for folks in Western New York. If you want to take a listen to some sound here, I spoke with Jacob Neuheisel, a UB political science professor, about the competitiveness and the money pouring into these downstate races.
Probably the most competitive district in the country right now is the one that Mark Molinaro currently is representing. So he's got a great challenger. He's got lots of money coming on both sides of the race. And, it's one that he won in a district that Biden also won in 2020. And so I think he won by something like 2 percentage points. That's a pretty precarious place to be in, particularly in a presidential election where there's really, really high turnout, and you can very much count on all of the other party supporters that you have, going out to vote for president.
Yeah, and you might remember here, Mark Molinaro ran for governor back in 2018 against former Governor Andrew Cuomo. He's got a very tight race, or was expected to be a pretty tight race here. Looks like with 29% reporting, Josh Riley, his opponent, is winning this race right now. Mark Molinaro, about 35%. You heard there about the money flowing into this race, a very competitive race, and one of the attempts for Democrats to flip the House, get back control of that. If the Senate doesn't go their way, as a few races we've looked around the U.S. at this point, in Ohio with Sherrod Brown in that race there, not looking good at this point, still a lot of vote to be counted, but this could be a way for the Democrats to maintain some control in D.C. Switching here to a few of the other downstate races, if we have those graphics, another tight race is going to be in the 4th Congressional District. That's with D'Esposito and Gillen. That's another dead heat downstate, the 4th Congressional District, where Republicans are trying to maintain control, facing off on Long Island there. And it looks like with 52% of the vote in, Laura Gillen is winning that race right now. Again, about half the vote in, so still a long ways to go here. And then the final race here is going to be the 22nd that I mentioned, where we saw a trip from House Speaker Mike Johnson just a couple days ago in Onondaga County, where there's some big investment going in there in the town of Clay with the CHIPS and Science Act. John Mannion winning there right now with about 49% of the vote in. Brandon Williams, the incumbent there, falling a little bit, but again, still a lot of time to go here, a long night ahead of us. But these are the races that we're going to be keeping an eye on more so in New York State. With the state called at this point for Kamala Harris, there's still a lot of votes to be tallied and a lot of information to track in that regard, because New York may not be playing a crucial role in deciding the presidential election, but it looks to be playing a crucial role in terms of congressional control. Scott, Mary Alice?
Yeah, and that balance of power, obviously, really, really important. Rob, thanks very much for that update.